words to change the sentence enough that it's not entirely the same. So I would still say this paraphrase is a better option, simply because we changed the sentence structure around. Now, if you have a teacher, because this will happen if you're learning this process, if you have a teacher that says, we're going to find some synonyms, the same words that we can look up online or in a thesaurus, and we're going to take those words out and we're going to put a different one in. Follow their direction. Because that's a halfway step to getting you to change the whole sentence around if you're not ready for that. Most of us in this class are ready for that next step of being able to turn the sentence around to look like this, like the best option, option A. Some of us as learners, we need a middle step where we're just learning how to take a word out and put a different word in so that the meaning is still there, but we've still changed the sentence. Now, for the majority of us, we need to follow this model right here. But again, if you have a teacher that says, no, we're going to pull some of these words out and put other words in, follow their lead and don't call them plagiarizers. Okay, because they're helping you in a halfway place. And all of us need a halfway place to learn to step up to a whole place. Also, as you get older, and as you do this more, teachers will expect it to be more and more truly, authentically yours. So what you'll find is that sometimes in the younger grades, teachers will have you do that halfway step of just switching out words to help you make that halfway step to then be able to see how to do this big step of taking out words and changing the direction or the order of the sentence. Okay? Now by the time you get to 8th grade, they want you to be able to turn the sentence around and to actually speak it in your own voice and not just use the same structure. And for sure, as you get into high school, they're going to want that even more. All right, so we are finished with this one. Let's look at one more example. And we're going to go back to my article. And I'm reading, and I run across this really great quote. It starts right here, because see, when I see a quote, I'm like, weep, weep, this is a good one. That's the one. I want to include that. It's important. So I run across this quote that says about 80% of ocean plastic originates on land. The rest comes from marine industries such as shipping and fishing. In 2015, engineer Jenna Jambeck at the University of Georgia and other researchers calculated that at least 8 million tons of plastic trash are swept into the ocean from coasts every year. That's the equivalent of a full garbage truck of plastic being dumped in the sea every minute. Now that's a lot, but it all has to do with one thing. It's this idea that there's a huge amount of plastic being dumped every single minute into the oceans. It kind of gives us a sense of urgency. So I'm going to highlight that. I would encourage you, don't highlight more than this. This is a lot. Okay, I've just highlighted a lot of information. You shouldn't be highlighting the whole page. But this is about as much as I would do. This is probably, 3 or 4 sentences. Many times we would do less when we're paraphrasing, but in this case, I feel like it's going to be okay for what we're trying to accomplish. So I paste it in my chart, and then remember I have to go back to put the actual URL, the source at the top, so I hit copy. I go back and put it in the next box. And what was the first box for? Tell me, just tell me.
Words.
Keywords, topic words. Good, topic words, keywords. All right, I need some help with keywords for this. Okay, so take a look, read it over, and help me out. What would be some keywords and some ideas that I need to make sure I remember? Okay, Caitlin?
It gets on land.
What about land?
Plastic,
The plastic originates on land. What percent of the plastic originates on land?
80%.
So I'm going to say that 80% plastic starts on land. It's kind of a phrase. All right, so it starts on land, the majority of it. Good. What's something else, Anushka?
A full garbage truck of plastic is being dumped into the sea every minute.
Okay, garbage truck. I'm going to say 1 garbage truck every minute. All right, good. I like that. Angela?
About 8 million tons of plastic is being
8 million tons per year. All right, good. All right, so we've got a few ideas here. And now it's time for us to, because we've gone back, now we're going to leap to the paraphrase box. So I've got 2 examples here. And let's look at each of them. Who will read the first one for me? All right, Carol?
According to engineer Jenna Jambeck from the University of Georgia, at least 8 million tons of plastic trash are swept into the ocean from coast every year.
Excellent. Now read the second one for me, Carol.
At least 8 million tons of plastic garbage move into the ocean from coast every year. That's as much as a dump truck of plastic being dumped into the sea every minute.
Okay. Now, are they both good information?
Yes.
Yes. They both got great information. The question is, which one should we use for our paper, for our essay? Casper?
Second one is very plagiarized. It did the exact same thing as the page did. So you should use the first one because it said who said it. It said Jenna Jambeck from University of Georgia said it. And then the second one, it just said the exact same thing. I didn't get any credit.
Excellent. I completely concur with you. The second one uses a bunch of specialized language and specific information that we call that unique information that has to be given credit to someone or some group or a university or a publication or a video. You have to credit it. Why? Because there's specific statistics and facts that you would not have known. It's not common knowledge. So this one, the second one, is clearly plagiarized. Can you go ahead and write in the blank there? Plagiarized. The first one, do we call this paraphrased?
No.
No, we would not call that paraphrase because a paraphrase is when you put it into your own voice. What do we call it, Caitlin?
Quoted.
Quoted. So please write quoted in the blank. Notice when we quoted, we included the name of the person and their role, whether they were an ecologist, whether they were an engineer, or whether they had some other special role, and we identified the location that they came from, like were they from a university, were they from a research organization. You will want all of that. It's no good to say, Jenna Jambeck said, blah, 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 blah. Because I don't know, do you know who Jenna Jambeck is? I don't know who Jenna Jambeck is. But the only way we make her evidence strong, and her quote strong, is by showing that she's an engineer, so she better know what she's talking about. And she's from the University of Georgia, so she's from a university doing this research. She's not just a random student in a 6th grade class going, I know I'm going to say something important, and somebody's going to write about it someday. Okay, so it's not made up information, it's from a credible source. But you've got to say where that person is from and what their role is. All right, so these are 3 different examples on your paper of how we collect information, how we know whether we paraphrase it or quote it, or whether it's plagiarized, and how to kind of turn that around so it's not plagiarized. Now what we would like to do is we have a few steps to set you up in your actual writing process. The first thing we want to do is we want to go onto Google Drive, or if you don't see it in Google Drive, go onto Google Docs and look for the copy of the data charts that we downloaded the last time we were together, I think last Friday. So go ahead and take that out now, your tablet, and look for copy of data charts. It should look like this if you were to open it up.
Mrs. Dearson?
Yes.
I want to make a copy that I could type in, because when I
Yes.
copy it, it makes a PDF.
So all of you should have you should have 2 versions of the data collection charts in your Google Drive. Now remember where you got this from. If you're joining us and you don't know where you got this from, you went to my PowerSchool Learning page, you went to Activities, Assignments, then you'll see Data Collection Charts under the Assignments. You'll click on it again, twice, and then it will open it up, and you will go follow the steps from here on out. So you should have the data chart. You'll hit the little arrow in the upper left that takes you back to the screen that shows all the little boxes of each of the different documents that you have. And then you'll hit the 3 dots to make a copy. So before you start, you have to make a copy of this particular file in order to be able to use it. You won't be able to use mine because mine is mine.
I made a copy of the wrong one, that's why I wasn't able to.
Okay, so now how many of you, raise your hand if you have found your copy of data charts and you're ready for the next step? Excellent. So you're going to go back to the page where there's all the little boxes of the files and tap on the 3 dots and then type or look for the rename. So everyone look for rename. Once you find rename, then rename it with your name. So it should say, for example, Nico Whistler's data collection charts. Or Corey Adams' data collection charts. So take out the copy of and put your name in that spot. Once you have put your name in, then you can tap the, I think it's rename it button. Then the next step is to tap the 3 dots again, and you want to move it. So tap the 3 dots, look in the menu, it'll be right in the middle, tap on move. Move. And then look for your science folder. Once you have moved it to your science folder, that's where we want it to be to make sure that we don't lose it. And then you can go back to your Google Drive page and remove the one that simply says data collection charts, the first one. If it says your name, don't remove that one. But you can, if you see an extra one there that says data collection charts, you can hit remove. So those are the steps that you're going to use to set up your files. Then you'll be able to open that data collection chart and begin the steps that we've talked about.